Hello, everyone. Good evening. Can you please use the chat to let me know if you can hear me? Thank you for taking out the time to join me live today. So please let me know if my audio is clear so that I can know that you are hearing me and I can begin this session. Please let me know using the chat or you send me a private message so I can know if you can hear me. Okay, because I think I'm audible. Okay, thank you, Mom. All right, so in today's session, we're going to be talking about our diabetic medications. We're going to be talking about how they work. And we're also going to be talking about how they make things worse, okay? And also what your diabetes is. Because if we want to talk about medications and how medications work, then we also need to understand how our body mechanism works, okay, when it comes to diabetes, okay? And I'm also going to be sharing with you how you can turn this around for yourself to get on less medications and have a better quality of life, okay? So in order for us to start, what is diabetes? So diabetes is a condition when your blood sugar is high because you have an insulin problem. Okay, so it's not just high for being high, it's high because you have a problem with your insulin. Okay, now for type 1 diabetic patients, they have little to no insulin, so they have to be injected with insulin. And as many of us know, insulin is that hormone that takes your blood sugar out of the blood and puts it into your cells and your muscles so that you can be used for energy. Okay. So for type 1 diabetics, they don't have insulin and they have to be injected with insulin so that sugar can be taken away from the blood and taken into the blood cells, into the muscle cells. Okay. But when it comes to type 2 diabetics, there is a problem because there is now too much insulin and the cells are no longer responding to that insulin. So we can say that the cells are now insulin resistant. So there is more than enough insulin, in fact, way more than you can possibly need, but your cells are not responding. Okay. So with diabetes, people think that it's just, oh, your blood sugar is high, your blood sugar is high. It's not just blood sugar being high, but you also have high insulin. Okay. And I'm going to be explaining, graphically and also using photos on how your blood sugar is high and how your insulin is also high. Okay. So because you have high blood sugar, which is not a good thing, right? If you have high blood sugar, then so many things can go wrong. Blood sugar is a very, very controlled variable in your body system. If you have too little, it's a problem. If you have too much, it's also a problem. Okay, and it can affect your nervous system and your brain. So it's your body has to control your blood sugar a lot. Okay, so because blood sugar is not good when it's high and your body is not responding well to that insulin that is meant to package that blood sugar away from the blood, you have to take medications. Okay. So if you Google diabetes, you would see that treatment can help diabetic patients, but there is no cure for diabetes. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. Okay. But then this treatment that can help means that your lifespan and your life's quality would be reduced by 10 years. And you will definitely experience side effects because all medications come with one side effect or the other. And your medications only treat one of the two problems that we have. Your medications only treat your high blood sugar. And for a type 2 diabetic patient, there are two problems. We have both high blood sugar and high insulin. But your medications just focus on your high blood sugar, okay? And don't get me wrong, this is very important because, like I've said, if your blood sugar is too high, it's a problem. And your medications, they would help to lower your blood sugar so that, you won't have microvessel disease. That is, your blood vessels, which are very tiny, it wouldn't experience damage and swelling because your blood vessels are elastic, okay? Your blood vessels carry blood to and from your entire body, organs, and body system, all right? And if there's sugar in the blood more than it's supposed to, it can cause damage and it can also cause swelling. It's just like if you put sugar in your in your palm and then you rub both palms together, you can say that it's going to get very hard, right? That's the same thing that will happen inside your blood vessel. And because your blood vessels are elastic in nature, it can be very dangerous for them to become stiff, okay? So you lowering your blood sugar also reduces your chances of suffering blindness, kidney failure, amputations, getting your feet amputated because of foot ulcer as a diabetic patient, and even neuropathy. Okay, so controlling your blood sugar is very important, and your medications would help you to bring that blood sugar down. Okay, but this is just one of the problems that you have as a diabetic patient. The other problem of having high insulin is not being solved. Okay, and when your insulin levels are high, it can lead to what we call metabolic syndrome or syndrome X. This simply means that you're having a host of diseases at the same time. So it means that as you are eating your fats and your carbohydrate foods, you are more prone to belly fats or abdominal obesity, where the fat is not just, subcutaneous, like that is under your skin, but the fat is now in between your blood vessels, making it very difficult for you to get rid of that fat, okay? You can also experience things like a fatty liver, and fatty liver is not just due to alcohol. There is something called a non-alcoholic fatty liver, which is a condition where people who consume so much sugar suffer from, okay? It can lead to obesity, it can lead to heart disease, it can lead to high blood pressure. Because as I said, if you have excess sugar in your blood vessel, it can make your blood vessel stiff, making it very difficult for blood to move, okay? Which can lead to an increase in blood pressure, all right? And you know that hypertensive patients are also at risk for stroke, and then you also have dementia. So these are some of the problems that high insulin can cause, okay? So your medications, what they do is to reduce your blood sugar and also reduce the complications of having high blood sugar to an extent, okay? But it's not treating the root cause of the problem. And because it's not treating the root cause of the problem, your insulin levels keep going higher and higher and higher, okay? Now, this is such a bold thing for me to say. How can you say that treatments is making things worse? Okay, so let me explain what I mean by saying that your treatment can make things worse. Now, most medications that deal with a lifestyle or a diet problem, for instance, type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure, they focus on the symptoms rather than the root cause, okay? And treating your symptoms only and thinking that everything is fine is just going to make the root cause of the problem get worse because no attention is being given to the root cause of the problem. And so that problem would always be there until you tackle it from the root cause, okay? And it's just like weed. If you don't tackle weed on time, if farmers are farming and they see a weed and they don't tackle it on time, that weed can spread throughout the entire farmland. right? So it's the same thing with your body system. When something is wrong and you don't treat it on time, or you just keep touching around the symptoms, that's the root cause of the problem is just going to keep getting worse. It's just like, they'll always tell you it's good that you find out your cancer early. It's good that you find out you have liver disease early. It's good that you find out you have a fatty liver early, okay, or kidney disease, whatever the problem may be, so that you can treat the root cause of the problem on time and save yourself. But your medications cannot treat that root cause of the problem, which is your high insulin. Okay. And because they are not treating that root cause of the problem, it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And you, as the patient, because you just check your blood sugar and you feel like, okay, the symptom has been controlled, you then think that everything is okay, everything is fine with you. You are just treating the symptoms, you are not treating the root cause of the problem. Okay. And doctors, by nature, they would always act under the standard of care, which is you have high blood sugar, you have high blood pressure, they need to reduce it for you. Okay. And so, because your body cannot do that on its own, you have to force your body to do that with medications. All right. And it's not your doctor's job to teach you about things like, oh, you have high insulin as well, because they are seeing so many patients and they think that you should know all these things already. Okay. Their field is not nutrition or being a dietitian or whatever. Theirs is just you have a problem, you need it solved. We need to save your life first. Okay. Which is you need to get that sugar down. You need to get that pressure down. Okay. And that's why they administer medications. All right. So under the standard of care, doctors are most likely to do that, get your medications right away without dealing with the roots, actual cause of the problem, especially when you are suffering from a diet and lifestyle disease like high blood pressure or type 2 diabetes. So your medications can only go as far as helping you with just your blood sugar. Okay. You see that high insulin problem, that second problem, no medication can do that for you. Okay. And that's why we say that treatments may help, but there is no cure, because there is absolutely nothing that you are going to take in this world that can solve that insulin problem for you if you are a type 2 diabetic patient. The only thing that can help you is yourself. Okay. And changing things that need to be changed. All right. So the next question we are going to be asking ourselves is, okay, I can understand that my blood sugar is high, but why? Hello, everyone. I was disconnected for a while, but can you hear me now? And can you also see my screen? Okay, can you hear me now? I was disconnected. Okay. Can you also see my screen, please? I'm sharing my screen. Can you see my slides? Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So I was explaining before I got cut off that if we have two problems as a diabetic patient, high blood sugar and high insulin, why do we have high insulin? Okay. If we say that our bodies are insulin resistant, what does that even mean? And why is my body not responding to insulin? Okay. Now, I want you to know that your body is very intelligent, okay? And your body is also very precise. With the way God created human beings, we have a very, very smart body system, okay? And things like diabetes don't just develop in life, okay? Things like diabetes and high blood pressure, it doesn't just come, okay? There has to be a reason why you have so much insulin, and there also has to be a reason why your body is not responding to insulin. Because if you think about it, you were healthy in your 20s and in your 30s, right? You were not born a diabetic patient. So why is it that now you are suffering from diabetes? What exactly changed over the past few decades. Okay. Now, the reason is because of something we call adaptive physiology. All right. And this just simply means your body is making changes to adapt to specific situations that happen to you. All right. So I'm going to give a few examples. Let's say let's say it's snowing, okay? And every day I go out and walk bare feet in the snow. You bet that for sure I am going to get used to walking bare feet out in the snow, right? Let's say it's also shining very, very hot, okay? And I mean like hot, like Sokoto kind of, like Sokoto State kind of sun, okay? And I go out bare feet every day out in the sun and I walk bare feet. In a few days, I would be used to it, right? If I wake up every day by 5 a.m. and I shower with cold water, at first it's going to be quite difficult for me, but then my body is going to adjust, right? If I do that every single day. If I spend time, let's say I go mountain climbing every day where there is less air, above, my body is going to create more red blood cells to give me more oxygen, to keep me alive when I go mountain climbing. Okay. So this is simply what we call adaptive physiology. Your body adapting, making changes to adapt to certain situations. Okay. Now, when there is less of something, your body is going to be sensitive to that thing. All right. And when there is too much of something, your body down regulates and becomes resistant to that thing. Okay. Now, when you are sick, it means that your body is not at ease anymore. There is no more equilibrium in your health. Okay. That's why we call it disease. Disease is simply dis-ease. Okay. Your body is not at ease anymore. So if you are healthy and you are fine, it means that there is a balance, there is an equilibrium. Your body is in a state of homeostasis. And when there is a dis-ease, it means that there is now an imbalance, okay? And let's say, for instance, you have high fever, okay? Your body temperature is going to go up. Why is your body temperature going up? It's because something inside of you has changed. And so your body temperature has to go high in order to meet up to whatever is going on in your system, okay? So adaptive physiology simply means your body adapting to different changes in its environment, okay? So as a diabetic patient, your cells are not responding to insulin because they have enough sugar already, okay? Remember, I said that insulin is what takes that blood sugar out of the blood, okay? Now, your cells already have enough sugar, okay? And remember on my slide, I says, when there is too much of something, your body would reject it, okay? Your cells already have enough sugar. So as your blood sugar is high, your body, being so smart and being so intelligent, is going to produce more insulin so that it can take that sugar out of the blood, okay? But then your insulin is knocking on your muscle cells, on your body cells, saying, hey, take in this blood sugar. It's not supposed to be in the blood. And your body is telling it, I can't take in any more blood sugar. I am done for the day. Give that blood sugar to somebody else. Okay. That's what we call adaptive physiology. So because there is too much insulin, there is too much blood sugar, which causes an increase in insulin, your body is then resistant to it, saying enough of this thing. We have enough of it. We don't need any more. Okay. So when your blood sugar is up, your body keeps producing more insulin, and then your body is still rejecting that insulin because it doesn't need any more blood sugar. All right. So if your body is so smart, okay, if your body is so smart, why is it not responding to that insulin? Now, over a century ago, we have feasting times and fasting times, right? The Bible says that there is a time for everything, okay? So we have a century ago, there were eating times times that people would feast, enjoy their life. It's just like the prodigal son went out to feast, and he enjoyed himself. He lavished everything that he had, right? And then a famine came, and then he was broke, right? So there are times for feasting and there are times for fasting. Okay, there are times when you fill up your body tank, and there are times when you have to empty up your body tank. Okay, in the Catholic Church, I'm a Catholic, so there are times for Lent. There are sorrowful periods, and there are also periods like Easter, Christmas for celebrations, right? So feasting times and fasting times. Okay, now it's like this because when you fill up your body tank, you also need to empty that body tank. Okay, so your body doesn't just use sugar for energy. Your body also stores sugar as glucose. Okay, so that anytime your brain needs it, it's like a building block. It would always be ready for your brain to, use your glucose. Okay, but when there is this constant supply of this glucose all the time, you are always feasting. In the past, they usually ate like 1 or 2 meals every day, but now we see people eating like 4, 5, 6 times a day. You are constantly filling up your body tank, even when your tank is already full. So we don't have times for emptying up that tank. And when you fast, you are making use of that storage that your body has so that you can have enough space for the next day. Okay, when you fast, the times when you don't eat, you are making use of that stored sugar, that stored blood glucose. Okay, you would make use of it because at that time you are not getting it anymore. So your body now has the opportunity to make use of the one it has already stored and empty it out so that the next time you can refill, give your body space, and then your body would make use of what it has already stored. Okay, but right now in these times, we don't have these times of feasting and we don't have these times of fasting anymore. People just eat as they like. Nobody fasts anymore. People just eat to their heart's content. Okay, and that's the reason why your body is no longer responding to insulin, because it has taken up too much. Okay, the more we eat, the more we store up this blood glucose, and the body doesn't have time. Your body doesn't have any time to clear out the storage. It's just like you are forcing food into your mouth. Okay, you get like 3 slices of bread, and then you have 1 loaf of bread. You go 1 slice, 2 slices, 3 slices, 10 slices, and you are just putting everything into your mouth. At some point, you are going to vomit, right? Because you need time to chew and digest the slices of bread that you've already eaten, right? So because you are constantly feeding your body sugary foods, even high carbohydrate foods that your body will then process into sugar, because you are constantly feeding your body high sugar, okay, high glucose, your insulin would always be high. And because you don't have that fasting time, we don't experience famine anymore in the world. There is always a supply of food for you to eat. That famine never comes. So your body also doesn't have the opportunity to clean out itself. And so what happens? It becomes resistant to it. Your body says, no more. We don't need any more of this. Okay. And so because your body is rejecting that insulin and sugar, and it is remaining in your blood, which is not a good thing, doctors would then recommend medication so that it would force your body to take in that blood sugar that it is refusing to take. And then when you take your medications, your blood sugar would go down. But then the root cause of the problem is not being solved. You are just forcing your body to do what your body cannot do on its own. Okay. And because we are not treating that root cause of the problem, our insulin is getting higher and higher, and the resistance is getting worse. Okay. Now, let us talk about what happens 20 years before we are placed on our diabetic medications, because diabetes doesn't just happen out of the blue, right? Remember that there was a time when you were not a diabetic patient. Okay. So what happens 20 years before you got on your diabetic medications, or before you were then regarded as a diabetic patient. Okay, let us look at what happened. Now, I want you to look at my graph here at the left, and then I have some text at the right, and I would explain as we go, okay? So 20 years before you were given your medications, or before you were tagged as a diabetic patient, we have year 1, okay? Now, in year 1, you have good carb tolerance, okay? When you eat carbohydrate high foods, your body can process it, no problem. So when in year 1, you have a fasting blood sugar. Blood sugar is the red one, okay? Blood sugar is the red one, and then insulin is the blue one. All right. So in year 1, you have a good blood sugar reading of 90. Okay. And for that blood sugar, you only need, let's say, 3 bags of insulin. I will just use that as an example. Okay. Like 3 bags of insulin in order for you to, digest and store, use some for energy, store the remaining glucose as, as glycogen in your body, so that whenever your body needs it, your body can bring it up again. Okay. So in year 1, there is a good balance. You are sensitive to your insulin. Your blood sugar is normal. Now, when you keep on eating those sugary foods and high carbohydrate foods, you don't have any time for fasting. There are no famine periods in your life. You are just doing the same things that you are doing, right? You feel like you are okay. From your 20s, you move on to you are 21, you are 22, 23. You are just doing the same thing over and over and over again. It gets too much. Right now, we are in year 8 years later. Okay. Now, your blood sugar is 93, which is a slight jump from year 1. But then your insulin is now 9 times. You now have 9 bags of insulin to deal with the same or a slightly higher form of sugar. Okay. Because you've been taking in that pantry, you have been, you keep eating, and you as you have been doing before, you feel like everything is okay. You are just ingesting. Now your body now needs 3 times as much insulin as it's needed in year 1 in order to deal with the same amount of carbohydrates that you've been eating. That's why people say that, oh, I didn't change anything, nothing happened to me. This is the way I've always been eating. Why is it now that I am now a diabetic patient? It's because you've been storing it. Okay. So in year 7, our body now needs 9 bags of insulin to process something that 3 bags of insulin would have processed before. And then you calculate your blood sugar, it is 93 for your fasting blood glucose, and you feel like, okay, everything is healthy, I'm fine. Problems have started. But, because you just measured your blood sugar, you feel like you are okay. Meanwhile, you have 3 times higher the insulin level as you normally would. Now, you feel like everything is okay, right? So year 7, year 8, year 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now, you now have a fasting insulin of 15, which is 5 times higher than what you used to need, because you have been eating in the same way since year 1, and you don't fast. You keep eating high carbohydrate foods, high sugary foods. You are living your best life. You are probably 30 by this time. Everything is okay with you. You are enjoying your life. You don't feel like anything is wrong. And your body now needs 5 times as much insulin to process the same amount of carbohydrates and sugary foods that you are taking in every day, because you don't ever clean out your body system. It's just storing everything, as it's from year 1. Okay. So right now you need 5 times as much insulin to deal with the same amount of sugar. Okay. Now, still in year 15, you calculate your fasting blood sugar. It is 94. You say, at least that's still in the healthy range, right? So you don't do anything about it, right? Meanwhile, your problems have worsened, but because you don't have any symptoms yet, because your blood sugar, your body is trying very hard to maintain and regulate that blood sugar for you, and you don't have any symptoms. You feel like everything is okay. Meanwhile, inside of you, things are going wrong. Okay. And then in year 20, we now see that our fasting insulin is 30, which is 10 times as much insulin as we used to use in year 1 to process the same amount of carbohydrate. So it's not as if you are eating more carbohydrates than usual. Okay, it's not like your food portions have increased, but because you've been doing it consistently over the past years, and you don't give your body enough time for your body to clear out its storage, so everything just keeps building and building and building, and now you need 10 times as much insulin. And at this point, even 10 times the insulin you needed before cannot even control your blood sugar anymore. So at this point, your fasting blood glucose is now 180. And then you go to the clinic, they will check your blood sugar. They'll say it's 180. They'll say, it's too high. It's too high. You're a diabetic patient. They will start giving you medications. And then you start asking yourself, God, why me? Yesterday, I was not a diabetic patient. I just went to the hospital today, and all of a sudden, I was diagnosed with diabetes. It didn't just happen. This is 20 years of improper eating habits that have gotten you to where you are today. Especially if you are somebody that's, they will say that diabetes runs in the family. I don't think anything runs in your family. Okay. Yes, your genes can definitely play a role because your parents' genes are what forms you. Okay. But then I also think that as kids, we adopt eating habits from our parents. So it's what your parents ate that you eat as well. And because your parents ate something or ate in a specific pattern and it led them to develop diabetes, and you also eat in that same pattern, you would also have diabetes. And you would also teach your kids to eat in that same pattern, and they would also be diabetic patients. And then we now say that high blood pressure runs in the family, diabetes runs in the family. Nothing runs in your family. What is being passed down is simply poor eating habits. Okay, so in year 20, we can say that even 10 times the insulin you need is not even enough to control it. Your cells have had enough. They are begging you, in fact, they need to clear out the storage. We need famine. We need a period of fasting. We need to fix this. Okay, but because you don't know that, you are just saying blood sugar is high, you would then be given medications, and then you would force your body. And when you force your body to do something that it cannot do, you best believe that you are going to break that machine sooner or later. Okay, I'm just using your machine as an example because your body is kind of like a machine, right? So if you force a machine to do something, it's just like your laptop is getting spoiled, and you just keep forcing it to power it on. You're just doing management. All of a sudden, it's going to go off and never come on again because you are not taking care of your laptop in the right way. Okay, so at year 20, we are now full-blown diabetic patients. And then we go to the clinic and, you then live with this stigma of diabetes, and then you're looking for one magic pill here and there or another that is going to flush out all your diabetes, as if diabetes is one ball in your system that is going to flush. Like if you just take a particular product, it will just flush it out for you like poop. It's not. And if products like that existed, then the World Health Organization would have made it known to all as the cure to diabetes. But we say that there is no cure to diabetes because the cure is inside of you. You need to do something about your lifestyle choices. You really need to. Okay? And the best thing about this is that because this is all adaptive physiology, because this is just your body adapting to too much sugar, too much insulin, the only way for you to get better is to undo whatever you've been doing in the past. Okay? So if you want to cure your diabetes, you have to look back at your life and make a U-turn. Okay? If you want to clear out and clean out your entire body system, what you have to do is to stop putting into your body what you've been doing before. Okay? Stop putting into your body the same things that caused the problem. And what are these things? Number one, we have high fructose corn syrup. That's the thing that you find in most sweets and candies that make it very delicious for children to take. Okay? And then number two on the list, we have sugar. And after that, we have processed foods. Okay, especially foods that are fried with seed oils over and over and over again. Okay, like those that sell buns, akara, puff puff, that use the same oil they used last week to still fry the same puff puff for you, and then you eat it. Okay, processed foods, processed sugar, corned beef, sausages, processed foods. Okay, canned foods. All right, that you just go, you pick up in supermarkets that has so many preservatives inside so that it can keep it can preserve that food for you for over a period of months before you then buy it and then you consume it. So processed food is also on this list. And then we have frequent meals. Remember, I said people eat too much these days. We consume a lot these days. We don't give our body time to empty out that storage. Okay. And the last on our list is your carbohydrates. So it may surprise you to know that your carbohydrates are actually they are not really bad for you. You need your carbohydrates. They actually last on the list of things that you should undo, but they are also very important. So if you want to undo anything, start with your sugar and your processed foods and how frequently you eat. Okay, before you then even talk about reducing your carbohydrates. All right. And sadly, in the medical field, it's just the way it is anyway. We focus too much on blood sugar. What we should be focusing on is our insulin. Okay, our body is just resistant to that insulin. We need to find out ways how we can make our body resistant to that insulin again. And what do we do to make it resistant, to make it sensitive to insulin again, is to undo the adaptation, which is reducing all these 5 things I've already mentioned. Okay, so you can now see how your medications can make things worse by forcing your body to do what your body cannot do. And they are also not treating the root cause of the problem, which is that you are resistant to insulin. Okay, so how do we change these 5 things? Okay, first, modify your diets. All right, and that's what the meal plan I have for you. For those of you that bought the meal plan, that's what the meal plan helps you to do. Please don't just buy it and then you keep it somewhere. Please open it up, read it, see what meals, what changes you can make in your diet. And the meal plan also has an intermittent fasting guide for you, okay? So that you can know what times you can eat and what times you should be fasting, okay? To help your body out. And then you also have the wellness pack that will speed things up for you, okay? Because some of you, your body really needs that extra push, okay? Some of you have completely broken down that machine in your body that helps to break down glucose and blood sugar and store it. So some of you need that extra push. And wellness, it will just give you vitamins that you need. It will just give you that omega-3 that you need to create more cells that are insulin sensitive, so that at least that blood sugar can go into those healthy cells, and then we can work on undoing the cells that are already insulin resistant. Okay. And it also contains astaxanthin to help you with that oxidative stress that has been caused, and also prevent all these symptoms and things that you are likely to develop as a diabetic patient, like getting foot ulcer, having microvessel diseases like blindness, neuropathy, and the likes. Okay, so astaxanthin is just the natural form of doing what your medications usually do for you. Okay, so this is the way that you undo that adaptation, because your body is also very smart, that when you start undoing the adaptation, it will just take it from there. Okay, so this is the way that you can help yourself. Instead of just focusing on your blood sugar, ask yourself, what about my insulin? How do I take care of that insulin? And you can only do that naturally. There is no drug on this earth that can do that for you. Okay, it's simply your diet, your lifestyle choices that can help you out with your insulin. All right, so we have come to the end of this session. So this is the meal plan. Okay, it's a 1-month meal plan for you and your intermittent fasting guide. And you also have your supplements here to help you, for those of you that need that extra push. All right, so we have come to the end of this session. So please ask me your questions if you have any, okay? I will be waiting in the chat. And if you don't have questions, I would appreciate some feedback from you. Did you enjoy the session today? Do you feel like you learned something new? So questions and also please give me feedback, okay? I'd love to get some feedback so that I can know if I should improve my next session. If you have some topics that you'd like me to talk about, you can also let me know as well, okay? All right, so I would wait about 5 or 10 minutes to know if I have any questions from you, and also so that you can give me feedback, okay? All right. I hope that you can hear me. I really hope so. Okay, questions, feedback. Do you want me to talk about a certain topic that you have in mind? Anything? Please talk to me. Any questions or comments? Okay. Mrs. Ajibade says, I enjoyed the session. Okay, I'm glad you enjoyed the session, Ma. Just want to know if I should continue taking the medication that I stopped 2 months ago. Why do you want to go back to your meds? So many people would be happy that they are able to get off their medications. Is there any reason why you feel like you should go back on your medications? I read it's not good for the body, so I stopped, but have been eating healthy. Okay. And with your healthy eating over the past 2 months, have you been experiencing good changes in your health? You know, if so, then I don't think you should go back to your medications. Okay. If you are doing a very good job controlling your blood sugar with your diet, then I don't think you should go back on. I don't think that you should go back to the medications you've already stopped 2 months ago. Okay. All right, ma'am. So you are good. Okay. Please be consistent with what's already working for you. Okay. Mrs. Victoria, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Anyone else? Questions, comments, feedback? What would you like me to talk about next? Do you have content that you'd like me to discuss or you'd like me to share with you? Please let me know. Okay. And if you don't have any more questions or comments or feedback, you can leave the session because we are done. Okay, we are done for the night. I will just wait a few more minutes. Okay, you're welcome, ma. So I'll just wait a few more minutes just in case anyone has something to tell me, and then I would end the session. Okay. But if you don't have questions, you can leave. Okay, no problem, ma. Mrs. Ajibade, what do you think about taking herbs? I think taking herbs are very good for diabetic patients. I think they are very, very good for you. And yes, you would have a copy of the medications, especially when you can source your herbs naturally. That is, when you can, um, how do I put this? When you can make your own herbal drinks yourself. Yeah. So I think it's very good for you. Because it's not all fruits, it's not all fruits that you can consume as a diabetic patient. So herbs are a very good way. Leafy vegetables, they're a very good way for you to make up for that. Okay. And they're also very good sources of antioxidants as well. Okay. Recommendations of herbs. Hmm. Aloe vera. Aloe vera is very good. Okay. Your rosemary is very good. Your oregano leaves, they are very good for you. Your moringa leaves, if you can make moringa tea that you can be taking every night, that would also be very good for you. Okay. If you have access to things like cinnamon, then those are good for you as well. And you can also add your ginger, things like this. You can just add them to your meals. Okay. Obviously, you're not going to add aloe vera to your meals. Please don't add aloe vera to your meals unless you want to eat a bitter food. But you can make aloe vera juice. Yes, simply blending in aloe vera. Although I wouldn't recommend that you use too much aloe vera. I usually make aloe vera juice for my dad. So I use aloe vera and then cucumber. Okay. And I blend it together with water and I serve him. So that's a recipe for you right there. Aloe vera, very little, not too much. And then cucumber, I don't remove the back of the cucumber. Just wash it well. Okay. Just wash it well, and then you chop it into the blender. You put your aloe vera. If you have a little ginger too, no problem. But I don't usually use ginger on a regular for him. But then just cucumber, aloe vera, you blend it in, with water, okay, with warm water, and then you take it. Usually my dad doesn't eat dinner. It's either he takes salads or he takes his juices. Okay. So night times are kind of like his fasting times. If it's past 6 p.m., he doesn't eat any other food. Okay. Except it's a salad or any of these juices, like his aloe vera juice. Okay. All right. You're welcome. You're welcome. Good question. All right. Anyone else? Any more questions? Yes, all the recipes are in the book. Okay. So I have salad recipes, juice recipes in the book as well, and then your intermittent fasting guide. So some people, they like to skip breakfast, eat lunch and dinner. Other people would prefer to skip dinner. So I give the times that are best for fasting in your ebook as well. So yes, you have your recipes, you have your meal plan in the book, what you should eat over a period of 1 month. I also have some snack ideas for you if you would like to snack, healthy snacks anyway. Okay. Your fruits that are good for diabetic patients, your vegetables that are good for diabetic patients. So yes, it is contained in the book. Everything that you may need diet wise is contained in your meal plan. Okay. All right. Any more questions? Okay. If there are no more questions, am I free to go? Am I free to log off? You're welcome. All right. So I would stop sharing now. And if you have any other questions, you can always reach out to me via email. I am the admin of your group. And my number is coming up soon, 070-324-83734. My email is just Anne manafat@gmail.com. And that's manafat@gmail.com. For those of you that are not on WhatsApp and you'd like to send me an email, if you have any questions, you can. Okay. And my number is also in the chat as well. All right. So thank you all so much for taking out the time out of your busy schedules to meet up with me tonight and listen to me talk. I hope that you enjoyed the session today, and I would see you at a later time. Okay. So good night. Take care of yourselves and your families. I wish you the best of health. Okay. Bye.